YouTube, what's happening? It's Mark here from Mark's Mind. Haven't done a video in ages. I had an email from YouTube the other day saying, hey, you haven't put out any content in a while. If you don't put something out soon, we're going to demonetize your channel. So that was the fire I needed lit up my you-know-where to get me to put some content out for you guys. I'm doing this in one take. There will be no editing or anything like that. Nothing cut together and put together nicely. I'm doing this in one take. You saw from the thumbnail what this video is going to be about. It's talking about dating in Japan, marrying Japanese women. I live in Japan, for those of you who don't know yet. That's where I'm based. I'm based in central Japan. And when I go home, or not even when I go home, when I go out of Japan and men in particular find out that I'm based in Japan, the number one question I get asked is, so what are the women like, right? Now, most men get shocked, probably a bit disgusted as well when I say to them that I've never dated a Japanese woman, or I've never married one, and I probably have no intentions of marrying one. I have had a few Jada Pinkett type entanglements, if you know what I mean, during bouts of being single, but I've never gone through the whole process of dating and definitely not marrying. I know some of you are like, so what's wrong with Japanese women? Physically, overall, for the most part, there's nothing wrong with Japanese women. Some of them are extremely beautiful. They tend to be slim, and I like slimmer physiques on women. That's my personal preference. We all have our personal preferences, right? And so with that said, Japanese women, some of them can be very beautiful and slim, you know. So there are a few things that have prevented me from ever considering going down that road of marriage. I will probably have to do this video in different parts to keep the videos not too long, because I don't want people to lose interest. But I think this is going to be something that could probably piss off a few people, people I know who are Japanese or who are married to Japanese. But it's something, this is Mark's Mind. I'm just speaking my mind, unfiltered, trying not to swear because of YouTube's very strict guidelines. But this is my unfiltered mind. This is Mark's Mind. So anyway, the number one thing, and I'm going to talk about this first, that is preventing me from ever going down that road of marriage here in Japan is the topic of finances. Now, regardless, whether it's Japan or any other country, money can be the root of all evil in many relationships. Finances is a big thing in any relationship, whether you're in Japan or not. But again, my personality does not go in line with how Japanese women see marriage and finances. Now, the first point is that most women in Japan don't work. They don't even have a part-time job, a lot of them. A lot of them are stay-at-home mothers. A lot of them stay home even when they're not mothers, when they're young, able-bodied, and they can work. Now, at the moment, separate to some things I'm doing online in business, and I'll do some videos in the future talking about what I'm doing exactly, because I could do with your support. But I'm an English teacher. Most of the foreign guys I know here, the expats, most of them are English teachers as well. Now, I'm not sure how it is where you live, but English teachers are not rich people, right? We get by, but we are not rich. Unless, of course, maybe you have your own English school and you have the potential to charge more and have more students, and so your income can be higher. But just the average English teacher, 99% of us aren't in that situation where we're rich. We're just going and working for someone. So what I've seen here is that a lot of the guys who are English teachers, they work every day under the sun because their wives, not that they can't work, but they flat out refuse to work. They will not work because it's part of the culture where the wife stays home, kids or no kids, most of the time. Now, it reminds me of two women I know in particular. One woman, I used to teach her privately, doing English lessons. And she was at the time when she was right in her late 20s. She's probably in her early 30s now. But I remember when she got married to her husband, she immediately stopped working, right? And I said to her, so why are you, I don't understand. Why are you stopping work? I mean, it's not like you have any kids or anything. You're still young, you're still able-bodied. Why are you stopping working? And she said, I'm not working, I'm married now, right? It's something that's deeply rooted in the culture, right? It's deeply rooted, that's been going on for hundreds, probably thousands of years. Woman's married, she doesn't work, right? So when this woman told me this, I kind of lost a bit of respect for her, to be honest, because I just thought, you lazy cow, right? Why don't you get a job? There's another woman I know, who, and we're talking about finances here, another woman I know that she's an educated woman. She's actually a medical doctor. And she doesn't work. Her kid is of the age where she can go to school by herself and all that stuff, right? But she basically said, I'm not going to work. And I remember once I was having a conversation with her, and she said, I don't care what my husband does, as long as he brings in that money. Another one I lost a lot of respect for as well. Her husband has a decent job from what I understand. I'm not sure how much he earns. I'm sure he earns a decent wage, but still, I'm of the strong belief that if you can work, you should work. If I'm rolling in cash and I can support us, where everything's covered and you don't want to work, cool, that's fine. You can stay home if you want. A woman at home reduces the chances of her cheating anyway, because that's where most cheating goes down, when women go to work. That's a fact. But anyway, so these women, they took the approach that they're not working, right? Now, a friend of mine tagged me in something recently on Facebook. It was a video where they were showing in Japanese parliament how some new women were appointed to, in political roles, I think in parliament. And they were saying that the women weren't allowed to speak in parliament, but they could comment after with notes, okay? And people were like, ooh, Japan is a misogynistic patriarchy and oppressing women and blah, blah, blah. Maybe that happens in their parliament, but trust you me, when I tell you this, Japanese women are in control. They run their husbands like boys. They control 99% of the time all the finances. So whatever image you may have had of Japanese women, you see them when you see them in these movies and TV shows, and they're very docile in their kimonos and their little wooden sandals, and they're bowing a lot, and they're like, arigatou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, and they're very passive. Like Eddie Murphy Raw, when he was talking about his mate with a Japanese wife, and the guy says to his Japanese wife, you may speak, and she spoke. Nothing could be further from the truth. Japanese women run things. It is a matriarchy here. And like I just said, they control all the finances in their households, at least 99%. I don't know the exact number, but it's high, right? Now, what happens in Japan? This one, I looked sideways when I heard this one. So they control all the money. They stay home, right? Okay, maybe they do some house cleaning or whatever. I can clean, I can cook, I can wash, I can iron, I can literally do everything myself, right? I'm a strong, independent black man, right? But um, they stay home and they're supposed to manage a household, right? But here's the thing. For most men, Japanese, foreign, whatever, and most foreign men I know, they have fallen right in line with the custom in Japan where they work, they give their wives control of the money completely. And then I guess maybe every month, they are allowed pocket money, right? So they get a set amount of pocket money called okazukai. I'm looking at some notes I have in front of me here. So it's called okazukai. And they this is your money for the month. Don't blow it before the month is out because you're not getting anything else. This is literally how it runs in most households here. And the men are such emasculated pussies, right? They're so emasculated here. Their wives run them like boys, and they go to their wives cap in hand asking for their monthly allowance, their pocket money. I remember one guy I used to work with, nice guy, American guy, and his wife controlled all the money. She worked as well, but she controlled all the money. And I remember him saying that, say for example, it's breakfast time, right? They're having breakfast that morning. The orange juice finished. So what he said is that, for example, when he was coming home from work, if he bought some orange juice at the supermarket out of his pocket money, as long as he submitted receipts, he would be reimbursed. And we were laughing our asses off, rolling on the floor, because we're like, dude, what are you talking about? Because we were saying to him, what is this? You're working for a company and you're away on a business trip, and now you're submitting receipts to claim your expenses. Like, submit receipts? I just couldn't do that, right? These guys get a very small amount of pocket money. Their wives control everything. While these guys go off to work, if they're lucky, they maybe work in a company that has a cafeteria where they can eat whatever they choose, with different choices. But in Japan, around lunchtime, if you look outside most convenience stores, these guys are just getting by on a couple rice balls called onigiri, right? They go to their or a bento box lunch, like 400-500 yen, which is like $4-5 in America. They buy a cheap, very cheap lunch, and they have that. But guess what she's doing? She's out with her friends during the day. Most times they're going to nice restaurants, organic restaurants and all that stuff. I like going to nice restaurants. There's a restaurant just around the corner from my place. And when I go, I can walk to it, but most times I just jump on my bicycle and go to it if the weather is nice, to get there quicker. And when I go to that restaurant, 90% of the clientele during the daytime, lunchtime, is women. Not me and a couple other men sprinkled around, right? Most of them are in there with their friends, having a nice lunch, 3-4 course lunch for a very reasonable price, while their husbands are having 2 rice bowls outside of a convenience store. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying in the comments section, right? Now, what a lot of men do to counteract this whole thing of their wives controlling the money, everything, like literally everything. What they do to counteract this is get a second or third job on the side, secretly somewhere. Now, a lot of the guys that I know who teach English, they also have little secret jobs here and there. They might be going somewhere and teaching a Zoom lesson, or going into a Starbucks to teach someone one-on-one English conversations. But most of these guys, I would say, have second and third jobs separate to their main jobs if they have a full-time job, just so they can make a little extra money on the side. Now, for the jobs that aren't paying cash in hand, like if you meet someone in a Starbucks for an hour-long English conversation class type deal, that money is usually paid cash in hand, right? Under the table, so to speak. But anyone who works for another company on the side, that their wife is not aware of, I guarantee you they'll have a separate bank account, and that money goes into that bank account because the wife can't know about it. Because if the wife ever hears about that money, you best believe she's grabbing that money too. She's like, give me my money, right? So they have secret jobs, secret bank accounts for their money. A lot of guys in full-time jobs here, Japanese and foreign alike, depending on where you work, you might get bonuses every 6 months or once a year. What these guys also do is get their companies to pay their bonus money into that separate bank account. And usually what they will do is go to the wife and say, oh, you know, the company are going through some changes. They told us that they couldn't pay us a bonus this year, right? Or they won't be able to pay us bonuses for the next how many years. And so that's their way of, and again, it's going into the separate bank account, right? That's their way of having a little money for themselves, because their wives are dictators, right? Their wives are communists when it comes to money. They want all of it, right? I think that's why so many men in Japan, young men now in Japan, are not getting married, because they saw what happened to their fathers. They say, you know what, to hell with this. I'm not going to go through the hell that my father, my grandfather, great-grandfather, and all the other generations before me had to go through. So a lot of these young guys now are like, you know what, to hell with it. I'm staying single, right? And I guess that's why the hostess and the sex industry is so popular here, because of that reason. You know, because men said, you know, I'll just save my money, and when I'm in the mood for a bit of female companionship, I'll just go pay for it. I'll talk about that in another video connected to this video. Another thing about the women here and the money and the control is that while they're controlling the money, okay, and giving the men their pocket money, there's this thing that they call it Hesokuri. Now, Hesokuri is where she, after she pays the expenses and all that stuff, she skims money off the top, right? She skims money off the top for her little private stash. Yeah, her little Hesokuri is her private stash for when she is buying, when she wants to buy expensive handbags or clothes or whatever she wants to buy. Now, I remember in my first year in Japan, I was working in a language school, and my co-worker, this guy from Canada, white guy, he had this student, older lady, maybe at the time she was maybe in her 40s, quite an attractive MILF. And she kept buying him things. I think her husband did okay. She was a housewife. She bought him bottles of whiskey, neckties, cologne. I think she bought him all kinds of stuff. Whatever he said he liked, boom, best believe, you know, he's getting that eventually. So when he was leaving Japan, when she was in love with him, married, when she was leaving, she said to him, look, just so you know, the pum-pum is here if you want it. Right? I'm using some Jamaican lingo in this video. Is here if you want it. I'll pay for the hotel, whatever. I just need to get this out of my system. He didn't go down that road because he had a girlfriend at the time. I'm not sure what happened, but I think there was talk of him marrying her. He didn't go down the road. But that housewife used her secret stash, her Hesokuri, to buy him gifts, and was more than willing to give up the pum-pum to this guy, right? And they also use that Hesokuri to sometimes, well, not they always, they sometimes use that Hesokuri to go to what they call host clubs, which is like the sex industry for women, right? To go talk to these young, effeminate looking Japanese guys with the funky hair and really tight clothes and super skinny. So that's what they do. And this is one of the big reasons why I'm just not going to go down that road, because there is no way in hell, call it my toxic masculinity, call it my male pride, call it my misogyny, call it whatever you want. but I will never in my life allow myself to be run like a boy by my woman. I'm just not. I'm not some misogynist. I'm not, whatever. I believe in having my woman who is there with me. We're in this together. We're gonna fight along, and we're gonna become successful together and to build each other up. And I support her. She supports me. I'm that type of guy. I'm not a misogynist, right? Even though I do know a few jokes and stuff, but call it pride. That's my number one reason out of the other reasons I'm going to state in part 2, possibly part 3, about why I would never marry a Japanese woman. We'll wrap this video up here. If you have any comments to make, please make them in the comments section below. Please click like. Hopefully I don't get too many dislikes. Please click like, comment, share this video. Definitely subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified every single time. Click all so that you're notified every single time I put a new video out. All right, this has been Mark from Mark's Mind. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Peace.